Alright, so as requested by Jay, I'll give you a quick tour of the bear fence. So for bears around here, all I've done is I run a bear fence right around the cabin. So you can see I just got 2 strands. If I were to do it again, I might do 3. But I have gate hardware here, and then just these little 2-inch standoff posts going all the way around the cabin. So and I run it out around the deck as well. So when I'm not here, I do put the bear boards out on the deck as well, and I have one underneath a couple of the windows. Of course, when I'm here, I take those up so the dog doesn't get on them. So I'm doing them when I'm here. I just take it off. Unwrap them and bring them around the other side of the cabin. So basically just wrap all the way around. Raspberries got a little crazy this year. So like I said, 2 strands going all the way around. And on the back corner, just because of where I have my electrical inside, I have my charger right here and a switch right here. So I have a switch here, I flick it on and off, so when I arrive and want to go inside, I just flick that to the off position, go inside, and then I can turn it off inside. You can see we just got power here going into the cabin to give me power. And then I also did a branch off right here and ran it over, and it runs along the bottom of the outhouse as well, because I've also had bears there. And it doesn't rule out anything. I did see this year I got 1 bear mark right here, so somebody had a bit of a bite. That's what all this dark is from. And the seat of my boat got all chewed up, just the plywood. But yeah, that's the bear fence. And I've seen bears come by the cabin from the window, and this seems like they give it a wide berth, so I think they have touched it. And just a friendly tip that I learned online: if I want to check my bear fence, I just want to find a nice wide piece of grass, which is hard to find in nearly October, but a big flat blade of grass, nice and green. And what you do is just hold it in your fingers, and you put it on the wire, and you just start to move closer and closer, and eventually you will start to feel it in your fingers. Much better than actually touching it and getting a hard shock. So nice piece of green grass, slide it up, works really nice. So that's my bear fence, nice and simple, doesn't cost a whole lot of money. It's tied in with my solar system. So my solar system right now, I have 200 watts, 2 100-watt panels up on this pole. So that pole just sits on rock. I put a anchor bolt in the rock sticking up, so the pole stays on that, and that keeps it from swinging around, and it's anchored onto the beam right there. And the nice thing about this setup is I have full directional control, so I can aim this panel any way I want. And then I also have these cables right here going to the chain, and then it's just calipered on, and I just put a nail through the pipe there, and that way I can change the angle of this panel very easily as well, which is also very handy in the winter time, because I can kind of give it a little bump and it'll knock all the snow off it. So I got 200 watts total. I got a 400 watt panel coming on the next flight coming in, which is going to make it much better. So right now I'm running just an apartment fridge in there, 12 volt LED lighting, and just after a couple cloudy days it starts to lag, and I have to fire up a generator and top off the batteries. I have 2 AGM deep cycle batteries in there, just lead acids. They seem to work not bad. So that is it. One of the things I forgot to mention when I was talking about the bear fence, some other things I got done. So I just got a piece of stovepipe clamped over the propane regulator that goes into the cabin there. I have had bears chew through those, so I switched to a braided line. I don't know if that's going to help, but I also keep a spare regulator and line in the cabin, So if I do come and there's one been chewed up, then it's an easy fix. So, and I have had company around because this morning I woke up, my generator was flipped over on its side. I have a generator in the back for when the solar doesn't keep up, and something flipped it over. Probably the Wolverine that we saw yesterday. I don't see any other signs of bear, so my guess is it was a Wolverine. So. Quick tour of the cabin while we're waiting for the plane. Should be en route soon. So it's just simple, small, 16 by 16. But I wanted lots of windows, so I got a big window on every side, so I can keep an eye out for bears. Old RV stove I've got modified in. Apartment fridge. And originally I just had a chest freezer, but then I added this Inkbird temperature regulator, so I can control the temperature on that now. I can set it and use it as a refrigerator or a freezer, whatever I want. Alright, so quick video of the solar system. So charge controller, just a control panel for lights and USB and whatnot. Got a 1000 watt inverter underneath and a battery bank. A little mess of cables. Right now it's a little low, so I'm just running a battery charger to top it off because we got the generator running to freeze the moose anyway. Upstairs. So just very simple, low ceilings. If anybody builds one of these, put a 4-foot pony wall upstairs. That'll give you so much more room, but I can sleep, yeah, 4 or 5 people up here pretty comfortably. So. All right. So a tour of the cabin wouldn't be complete without a tour of the outhouses. So that one there was phase 1. The first year we were here, just camping in the tent. That very quickly turned into the Thunder Box, something you could build at home and bring out by snowmobile. And after the Thunder Box, I built a standard 4x4 outhouse out of scrap lumber. That one just had a big Rubbermaid bin in the back and wasn't great. And so I changed it up and replaced that one after a couple of years. I can't show you that one because I moved it about 1 kilometer away to a campsite by snowmobile, and then it burned the year after, so that one is no more. Now here we have the fancy outhouse. So I wanted to have my outhouse fairly close to the cabin so I'm not dealing with bears. I tried digging a hole in the back behind this rock and it was super thick clay. After a couple of inches it just wasn't worthwhile. So this outhouse here is the latest one. I think it's 6 feet by 5 feet, if I remember it right. So the idea with this one here is more or less composting. I made it nice and big, but made it really big. Got some fire storage in there, firefighting material storage, and it has 2 holes. So the one on the right is the summer hole. The one on the left, or in the middle with the styrofoam, that's a winter hole. So, but yeah, that under that plywood is a piece of styrofoam. You have not lived until you've used a styrofoam seat in the wintertime. It is so warm. Kids did some painting in there when they were little. So I mentioned before, I got the bear fence on there because the one time I did have a bear mess with one of my outhouses, it was right on this section right here. So we got our vent pipe, it just goes up through the roof. And then this one pipe right here is a urine diverter. So this pipe is a 4-inch line, goes through along the side. There's a 90 right in front of the toilet seat just below, and I've cut it off in half lengthwise, so it's like a big trough, and catches the urine, diverts it out the back here. So then it just goes onto the rock. So by doing that, I can basically have a composting toilet. If I move these couple of rocks out of the way, hatch just flips up. You'll see in there we have 3 big 45-gallon barrels. So just because of the shape of the rock, the one in the middle is taller. That's the winter use one. The one on the left is the summer use, and the one on the right is a spare. So if the one on the left fills up, I just switch them around, and then I got a lot more capacity. because there's not a lot of fluid in there, they last a long time. If you saved and burned the toilet paper, you'd go a lot longer. But for me, I have a spot that's kind of a naturally compost spot away from any drainages. I let it compost for a year or two, and then in the springtime I'll take it out and basically just flip them upside down in my compost spot and let the sun shine on them for a little bit, maybe a little bit of warm water on top, and they just drop what's composted in there, and away it goes. Put it back in. I'm ready for another year or two. I can get, yeah, a couple years out of those, and it works really well. So much better than having to go back in the back somewhere where it's next to impossible to dig a hole. You can see there is no diggable spots anywhere near. I tried in the back on the other side of this rock, and you weren't getting down more than a few inches. So that's it.